who am I? To be honest, I don't know. But I can tell you a bit about myself. Well, I was born in Kenya to two Ugandan parents. They were loving, but I didn't get to live with them. And after I was 5 years old, I was brought up by my aunt in Kenya, and one thing led to another, and I find myself in Brattleboro, Vermont, and I was invited here by Brett to be part of this project, and I feel very privileged. So the second question is, what was the rite of passage into manhood? Well, mine is an interesting story because in a nutshell, it was circumcision. I grew up in Kenya where to become a man, you had to physically get circumcised at the age of at least 14 and above. I think it happened at 16 because I was a Ugandan living in a whole different culture, and when my age mates went for the procedure, I fell back because I was Ugandan, like I said, and it's not something we practice back home. But by the time I was 16, I was losing people to hang out with, so that was the first step. I think the second step was having a child. I can say it was a rite of passage into manhood. The third question is the foundation of my spirituality. I was born a Seventh-day Adventist. Actually, I was born to Seventh-day Adventist parents. That's what I should say. And I think I believed I followed the tenets of the religion until I was about 18. And after that, I figured, do unto others as you'd like them to do unto you. And I've been like that ever since. What is more important, freedom or responsibility? I think ultimately it's freedom because I'm only here for a very short time, so I might as well explore. I'd rather explore. If I was given a choice, I'd rather choose exploration than restriction. So freedom every day. What makes a warrior in the best sense of the word? I believe a warrior is someone that knows that the struggle is in themselves, not out there, and every day they work towards perfection so that they can better serve others. And I know that that's not necessarily a man, because the word warrior sometimes is meant to mean a man, but I mean anybody that knows that the problems usually lay within us, or at least we need to start at home before we go anywhere. Okay, and my relationship with money. Well, I love money, but money does not love me. So I must admit I am loose with it and I could do better. But at the same time, when it comes to freedom or responsibility, I'll always choose freedom. So the question of violence versus non-violence. See, there is no light without darkness, or up without down. So I believe violence is like a disease, and like any disease, we have to study it, find out what what the symptoms are, what the causing factors are, what happens that leads us there. So if I was to choose one, I think it's violence. I'll be peaceful until I don't have to be. How do I deal with anger? When I was younger, I just blew up. I felt entitled. I thought, that was what I was expected to do, because if I was sleepy, I go to bed. If I'm angry, I blow up. But as I've been growing up, I realized that first of all, is to acknowledge that I get angry. It's not anything to be ashamed of or try to suppress, but I also need to know that I'm still responsible for whatever I do, whether I'm angry or not. You can choose, I can make my choices, but I cannot choose the consequences. So I deal with anger. I have an outlet. I talk about it. I accept and admit that I get angry, and also try to mitigate what's happened when I'm angry. I need to be aware that I am, so I try and act reasonably within the anger. My advice about sex. Oh, I don't have much advice there, but I'd say it's your responsibility to protect yourself. You can have a lot of fun, you can go places and do things, but ultimately your life is yours to live and it is yours to protect. I've had very interesting experiences if growing up in Uganda, so my perspectives on sex tend to err more on the side of caution. My dad and all his brothers died of AIDS, if that may help educate some of you. So that's 5 men. All the men on my mom's side, on my grandma's side, sorry, on my dad's side, died of AIDS. So that helps. If that helps, you think about it. I've done something. My relationship to my father was it was interesting. My dad was a soccer player. He was very good at it, and unfortunately for me, it's the only thing he saw me do. You know, he expected me to follow in his footsteps, and it it first of all it pushed me away from soccer. I don't like soccer. I don't watch it. I don't play it. You know, it's just I play rugby. I love karate. I love jiu-jitsu. Anything but soccer. So that relationship with my dad affected me in the way that, for one, I don't want to be the same kind of person my father was. I mean, he was a great guy, other than not being present, but I want to be there for my kids because the feeling of growing up, feeling like maybe, you know, when you're a kid, you attribute your parents' behavior to your behavior or to your existence. So I thought maybe I was an impediment to his life, and that wasn't true. He just was not responsible enough. So that's the very reason I came all the way here, because I have a daughter and I'm living for that. What do I love about myself? It's the fact that I think everything I've ever tried, I've excelled at. I'm not saying that it was easy, but I guess what I love about myself is most of the time I believe in myself. So and that has found that it has brought me very far. And if you're a parent, what do you want your kids to remember about you? Well, I want my kids to remember that I never left anybody on the wayside. Like, I always was there for others, not necessarily just my kids, but others. Whether it was at work or on the road with my friends, I just want them to remember that I was kind. My role models, there was my Aunt Ruth that brought me up since I was 5. She taught me generosity, kindness, patience, sense of humor, and she taught me how to enjoy life responsibly. Also, maybe my other role model would be Nelson Mandela, because, as we all know, he did not quit. And I wish I had the same patience, but I don't think I do. What I want my legacy to be, that I was the greatest man that ever lived. I want some, I'm kidding. That, again, just the same thing I want my kids to remember about me, that I was here for others. I did for myself so that I could do for others. That's what I want to be remembered by. Words of wisdom to the next generation is life is too short, and especially if you live in the West, in the USA specifically, take time to be grateful for what you have, because I hear a lot of people complaining about what they would like or what they don't have, and they do not take stock of what they have. Basically, gratitude. And also travel. The world is small, but it's also very big. And when you see what other people live like, or what they have and what they don't have, it will help you appreciate yourself better, and also maybe appreciate the rest of humanity. And that's it, I think.